Hello, Fiona. How are you?
I'm very good. Even better for seeing you today.
Yes. So here we are today to find out about the Lifewave patches and all of their how you got introduced to them, who told you about them, and why did you decide to go ahead and use them?
It's a very good question, actually, because um, I didn't take it. I didn't take this company up straight away. To be honest, I knew about it for about 6 months or so beforehand, and because I do a lot of energy work with Healy and goodness knows what, I was like, no, I don't need these. I don't need to add anything else. But there was a moment when I sort of had a bit of a wake up call, and I thought, you know what? I need to try these because I had a problem with one of my hips, and nothing else had seemed to be shifting it. And so I thought, what have I got to lose? Because it's easy. Just put the
Hmm.
patch on, take the patch off, put another one on, take it off. So I thought, well, what have I got to lose? And so that is really, I started using them about 7 months ago. And I had a lot of pain in my right hip. I cycle and I was starting to hobble. And I had a pain right underneath my heel because I do an awful lot of walking, but why was it on that foot and not the other foot? And I got to the stage where actually I was getting a little bit worried because it really felt like my hip was rubbing bone on bone. And for
Ooh.
me not to be able to cycle or to get out and walk,
Mm.
march in all the beautiful places I like to go to was a bit of a feary thing for me. So I thought, no, let me just try this. So that's really got what got me into
So
about sharing
what
this.
which patches do you start with and which ones do you use for your hips and your foot?
Yeah, that was interesting because I started with, as we normally do, with the X39 and the Eon, and I didn't really notice too much difference for about a month. And as we know, a lot of these patches, they'll go where they need to go first before maybe they shift what you really want to shift because we don't have we're not the decision makers necessarily on that. But
Mhm.
I noticed after about 5 or 6 weeks, I think it was, I added in the carnosine and the glutathione. And within a
Did,
couple of days,
did you wear the carnosine and the glutathione together, or did you wear one at night and one during the day?
no, I wore them on the same day, during the day. So with
Okay.
the X39, the Eon, and then those two. And I moved them around in different places on my body, on the different acupressure points. And within a few days, I started to feel something completely different. And the pain just disappeared after a while of doing that. So after a few weeks and a few months, I was back on my bike, no pain underneath my heel.
Mhm.
Now I do get the odd twinge every now and again, but it's not stopping me from doing anything at all.
Are you still using all four patches?
Definitely using the X39 and the Eon. I alternate with the glutathione and with the carnosine, and I do use some of the others as well. So I've got the 49 on and the SP6 that I've been working with as well. So yeah, those are the ones I seem to shift and change a little bit, but I'm not
What are
constantly.
you using the SP6 for?
Well, this is an interesting one actually, and I hadn't really thought about this because I was using the SP6 just to regulate hormones. My hormones, menopause wasn't really a thing. I've had a few hot flushes. That was it. I wouldn't say I experienced much else than that. But what it did do, which I thought was interesting, because those hot flushes were done a little while ago, and it sort of brought them back. So I was getting the odd flush and I was like, wow, this is a little unusual. Is this because it's a sunny day or is this actually, my hormones rebalancing themselves where they maybe need to just a little bit more? So that's one subtle thing that I actually noticed, which was interesting.
That's interesting because I noticed the same thing.
You have?
My hot flush, my hot flushes had disappeared like 3, 4 years ago, and I did get a few at night. They weren't as strong, but I
Mm.
did get woken up I would say 5, 6 times altogether. It doesn't happen anymore, but as I agree with you, it would be a hormone rebalancing. Uh, you know,
Yeah.
what else? So what else have you noticed? What else has changed for you?
What else have I noticed? I also noticed sleep. you know, because sleep is always the crucial thing, isn't it? We all want a really good sleep. And I have to say, you know, after having kids and living a lifestyle of jetting around the world when I did with British Airways, my sleep was never the same every night because I was always jet lagged from one country to another. So my body's not really had that sort of consistent, you know, knockout for 7, 8 hours. I would more often than not be awake several times during the night. So having used the Alvida, which I quite often put on my third eye, and the sleep in that one, I will put on the back of my ear on the mastoid bone here.
The silent night one.
Silent night, yes, sorry, silent night. So that has definitely helped my sleep be deeper and not get up in the night and not be so, you know, a bit like a butterfly and then I'm up and then I'm down and whatever else. So that's definitely, that has been a big benefit.
What about your energy?
Energy levels, my energy levels are, I would say, pretty good anyway. So I can't say that I've actually had a great experience and say, oh my God, I got far more energy, because I generally do anyway. I would probably say, if I think about it on a very subtle level, sometimes after lunch, you could get that bit of a drowsy period. That doesn't really happen. Cycling, okay, let's talk about that, because my bike, when I get on my bike, I need my energy, and I put the energy enhancers on the stomach 36 point. And I have definitely noticed that sometimes I'm thinking, oh, because I haven't been doing as much cycling, especially because I couldn't at the beginning of the year. I do cycle around the year. So my fitness wasn't quite to where it was. And I'd be thinking, why are my legs still going? And it doesn't feel hard. It's a really weird thing. And it's like, I look down and I'm like, there's these, and they're going up these hills and they're not tired. I get off my bike and I'm not tired and I'm not achy at all. So I love it. That's where I use the energy ones. It's just brilliant. So huge. It's brilliant if someone's into sport or an athlete. These are the ones. And obviously the X49 I use because that helps us to recover much quicker, and it helps with the cardiovascular system too, and the muscles and the brain and everything else.
So from now, since your hip is practically completely better and your heel as well, what are you using the patches for now? In the sense, is this just maintenance, or is there something else you want them to help you with?
I am more sort of doing it for maintenance, I think. Now there's nothing specific that I need to work on as such, because I am pretty healthy, thank God, but we don't know what's cooking inside of us, do we? So I'm, you know, always curious to see what other subtle changes are taking place, because so often it wasn't, you know, like for example with my heel, that pain was really quite sharp every time I walked anywhere, and then when you don't have it, you forget about it. So there's lots of little things I think are shifting and changing, but you don't realize on a conscious level, because when you feel good, you feel good. You forget about the times when you're in that discomfort. So for me, it really is about maintenance. And obviously when I cycle or I do something else, then I'll make sure I add in the energy patches. So that's where I am right now.
Okay. And how do you recommend them to other people? What's the main thing about the patches that you believe is so worthwhile?
For me, I think, you know, I've been in this industry of health, just like you have, for many, many decades now. And, you know, we really want to be in the optimum state of balance, don't we? We want to be healthy, regardless of what the age, the number actually says. You know, I'm 63 as well, the same as you. And I don't tell many people that actually, but I don't want to be.
Now it's going to be all over the web.
Oh, I know. I don't want to be one of those people, oh, it's my age, you know, oh, I can't do that because I'm getting old. No, I'm going to be on my bike in my 70s and my 80s. Nothing's going to stop me. And especially not a dodgy hip, which is no longer dodgy, or a pain under my heel. I'm on my bike, winter, whatever. So if you've got anything that is not, or let's put it this way, if you feel that your body is getting a little old and a little bit broken down, as it does, supposedly, get on these patches, because you don't need to be like that. You know, our stem cells need to be woken up and say, you know what, you've got more work to do. There's not a time to go to sleep, because we know by the time we're 60, 50% of them are gone to sleep. And it's like, no, 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 no. No, you can't do that.
So if you had to recommend this to somebody who's 25 or 30, what would you say?
Your body's aging every day. And also, let's face it, we live in a very toxic environment. We live in a world where stress is pretty high. Nutrition's not great. So I would say to people, it doesn't matter what age you are, look after your health from the youngest age possible, because you don't know what's around the corner. We don't know what we're breathing in. We don't necessarily know what's in our water. Our food, we know, is not as nutritious as it used to be. So the more we can do to look after ourselves, the more vitality we have, the happier we can be, the more freedom we have, because there's nothing worse than not being able to go and do what you want to do, and especially spontaneously, which is what I love to do. So yeah, anybody can use them, especially and people who are athletic. Why would you not want to enhance that? Another reason.
And also have your muscles not hurt as much when you really put them.
Yeah. Recovery rate is so much better and so much easier. Yeah. Yeah, I never have aching legs.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Fiona. I think.
Welcome. I'm sure we'll catch up again soon.
Yep.
Thank you.